What's up, everybody? I'm back at it with box braids to the floor again. And for those of you who are new, my name is Breanna and I am a beauty guru. My goal is to reach 1 million followers with your help. So if you want to see more crazy creative videos like this, subscribe and follow me right now because you don't want to miss my new videos I got coming next. To start off with these crazy braids, the first thing you're going to do is rubber band your parts. So as you can see here, I'm preparing a square that will serve for the base of my box braid to the floor. All you gotta do is part out the amount of area you want, put a little bit of edge control at your roots, and then use a rubber band to secure it in place. So parting is super simple. You take the end of your rat tail comb and you part straight across. And then you're gonna make sure you smooth all of your hair out of the way and use a clip to keep your hair separate. You just simply use an elastic band to put around your hair multiple times until it feels pretty secure. You don't want it too tight, so I only wrap the elastic around the roots about 5 to 6 times. You can do it more or less depending on how thick your hair is. So this is how my hair look after putting in all my elastic bands at my roots. And these are the glorious box braids to the flow. I decided to do a super colorful look because I wanted to be extremely dramatic so y'all can see how this style turned out. And this is how my braids look, and I actually braided these by hand. For the life of me, I could not find box braids already braided to the floor, so I had to make them myself. So as you can see here, these are the 2 sections of hair that I'm going to use to create the box braid. What you want to do is make sure that one piece is 3 times bigger than the other. That way the ends of your braids will be thinner, allowing for your braid to not feel as heavy. So now I'm using a tripod stand and I'm wrapping the hair around it, and I'm separating 1/3 of each leg from both sides, so that way each leg will be equal as I'm braiding it. I made sure to do a twisted technique at the top, so that way when I actually add these braids to my hair, it will look very flat and seamless. So at this point, you're just going to continue to overlap each leg one over the other until you're almost to the end, because you have to do something different so that these braids can go all the way down to the floor. So now that we're almost to the end, I'm gonna show you what I do. I grab that smaller amount of hair that I have left over and I divide this into 3 equal pieces, as you can see here. So you're gonna make sure to feed one leg at a time so that way your hair will not tangle. This is the best way for you to extend very long braids, and I'm gonna show you how that's done. So here's our 3 equal pieces, and I'm gonna begin adding one leg. I add the shortest leg to the middle, making sure the colors match, as you can see here. Because if the colors match, then it's going to be a natural gradient going all the way down. So now I'm gonna add my second piece again, and I like to always add it in the middle and to the right. So once I add it, I continue to braid going all the way down until all the pairs match up. Now the braid is so long, it's very hard to braid without me having to bend all the way down. So I use this clip to clip both sides of the braid together so I can continue braiding. So if y'all like this tip right here with long braids, let me know in the comments. Now I'm just taking off the actual braid from the tripod stand with my scissors to show you how it looks. You see how I have it kind of coiled at the top? That allows for your braid to be extremely neat and easy for you to crochet your hair through the middle. So now this is how the last of my braids look, and I actually braided 65 braids total. Now at this point, I'm gonna show you how to braid it on your head. Now if you're going to wear this style, I highly suggest that you make crochet braids instead, but this is just an alternative way you can add the hair if you don't want to crochet. So I'm just combing out the hair in preparation so that I can show you how to braid it from your scalp. You can do this style on relaxed, and you can do this on natural hair, pretty much any hair type, just as long as the braid stays in place. You don't want to do this on super silky hair. So now I'm overlapping one smaller piece over the other because I like to do this to create 3 equal legs to my braid. So here's the second portion for the braid, and this is 1/3 of the size of the first section. So every braid to the floor needs to have 2 sections, so that way the bottom will be thinner than the top, as you can see here. The top of the braid is about 3 times bigger than the bottom. That way you won't have much weight on your scalp and the braids won't feel heavy. So now I literally have 2 box braids left on my entire head to complete this style. So the first thing I'm going to do is separate it into 2 equal sections because each section will have a different technique. This first section, I'm going to do the rubber band method. Now, once again, these are not rubber bands, these are elastic bands, which is a lot more safe and gentler on your hair. So now we're going to use a crochet latch hook that you use for your hair, not for fabrics. So that's why it's called a crochet latch hook. So now I'm gonna open up the hook and I'm going to put it underneath my hair. Then once I do that, I hook the top of the braid, close the latch, and pull it through my roots, as you can see here. Now I just put it back through the braid again, and I'm going to make sure that I loop the tail end of the box braid through it. That way the braid will be secured on my part. As you can see here, you just pull the tail end through, and then you pull the top of the braid going all the way up to the roots of your hair. So now, to make sure that my hair doesn't stick out awkwardly, I actually go through the back of the top of the braid. I'm gonna show you in a second how that looks. As you can clearly see, my hair is darker than the braid. That means I'm going to have to be very creative to hide my natural hair color as much as possible. So that way the color will look very neat. So I'm going through the top of the braid and I'm hooking my hair through. That way it won't stick out as awkwardly near the roots of my hair. So it's tucked at the top knot of the braid, as you can see here. So I'm making sure that I crochet at the back of the braid and not at the front. So here's an example. I crocheted all of my hair at the back by creatively tucking, so that way you won't see it in the front. Now, this does not mean you will not see some of my hair color peeking throughout the braids here and there, but since most of the hair is hidden at the back of the braid, you will barely see much of my hair color throughout this style. So in order to do that, you only want to put your latch hook through the back of your braid in order for you to successfully tuck your hair. Tucking your hair means to hide your natural hair color throughout your braids. So I'm just continuing to alternate back and forth through the back of the braid. I'm not going all the way through the braid. I'm only going through the very back of the braid, so that way it kind of stays at the surface at the back instead of showing through the front. And once I finish, you'll see exactly how that looks. Now, to make sure that your hair lays very flat, you want to alternate going back and forth on both sides of the back of your braid, never through the front. So if you feel like your hook went through the front, all you gotta do is flip your braid around to double check to make sure that your hair did not go through the front of the braid. It's super simple and easy to do this technique, I promise you. So this is how the back of the braid looks after tucking my natural hair, and this is how the front looks. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now that I've crocheted this next technique, I'm going to show you how to braid it at your scalp. Now, if you braid all of these braids at your scalp, you know what? I'm just going to say a prayer for you because it's going to take you 1,000,000 lifetimes to finish. But a lot of you like to know how to braid from the root with colored hair, so I'm going to show you how to do that. This is my very last square for my very last box braid, but I make sure to split it into 2 pieces because it makes braiding from your scalp very secure. So I'm just splitting it in 2. It doesn't have to be neat. You just split it with your fingers because no one's gonna see the actual rooted part. You're just gonna split it into 2 equal sizes pretty much, and you're going to start braiding one leg. You're going to make sure as you're rotating, you're stopping multiple times. That way you can tuck your natural hair color underneath your colored hair. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like, so pay close attention. So now I'm rotating, going to the opposite side, and I'm making sure that I grab my real hair and I curl it going underneath. So I'm literally tucking it. I'm making sure to manipulate it to lay underneath the colored hair, so that way you won't see much of my real hair color throughout this hair. So as you can see, this method is called tucking because you're literally tucking your hair underneath. And this is perfect to do with colored hair or hair that's more brighter than yours. So don't be afraid to wear some colored hair, ladies. All you gotta do is do this tucking method so that way you can hide most of your natural hair color. The tucking method is not going to perfectly hide all of your hair color. It's just going to hide it mostly. So it's not as much of a distraction when wearing bright colored hair. So check this out. This is how the back looks with the tucking method, and this is how the top looks. So I'm just going to continue braiding going all the way down, making sure that both of the legs or all 3 legs actually feel equal in size, so that way my braid is very smooth and uniform. So I'm just speeding up real quick, and I really love this color combination. I have yellow, I have green, I have purple, I have pink. What other colors would y'all like to see me do with this look? So now it's time to extend the braid to the flow. So as you can see here, I'm stopping at the pink area and I'm almost at the end, but I want to save that much space. I'm using my clips here to hold it for me so I can begin adding the rest of the hair. So now this is the amount of hair that I'm going to have left, and I separate it into 3 equal pieces. Now every time you add your hair, you have to make sure that the color matches, so that way the braid is very consistent going all the way down in color. So I'm adding the pink to the pink, and then I begin braiding. So I basically make the actual piece of hair extremely long on one side and extremely short on one side, so that way the colors will actually match. So if y'all like this tip, let your girl know down below if y'all learning a bunch of cool stuff about box braids in general. So this is the last piece that I've added, and now I have all 3 legs on my braid. And then I just continue braiding going all the way down. And when this braid is finished, you will literally not be able to tell that the braid was actually extended and it wasn't the original length, because you want to creatively add the color to the color to make sure they match. Now, when your braid is getting a little bit too long because you got to braid all the way down, you just use your clip to hold in place so that way you can continue braiding. When braiding your braids to the flow, it's gonna take a whole lot of braiding. So in order for you to continue to braid without it putting too much strain on your back and shoulders, all you gotta do is use your clip to clip your hair up into place. And then when the braid gets a little bit too long again, all you're going to do is just re-clip it together so that you can continue to braid. Now, so many of you loved my original box braids to the floor, and I decided, you know, y'all wanted to see another look with me doing it, so I decided to do this video of box braids to the flow again. If y'all want to see some other colors or tips or tricks, all you gotta do is let me know. So now it's time to put the finishing touches on this look. I'm using some hair styling gel or holding gel to smooth onto my hair, so that way much of my hair won't stick out, because I noticed I had just a few teeny weeny bits of flyaways. So I just smooth it on my fingers and apply it to the roots of my hair. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you box braids to the floor again. I have in total 65 braids on my head, and I use 20 packs of braiding hair. Each 3 packs of hair made 10 box braids each. Be careful when standing in long lines or walking in big crowds, because if someone steps on your hair, it is not gonna feel good. And by the way, if they step on your hair, guess what? You can use your braids as some nunchucks to tell them to back up. Also, your hair is perfect to use on people if nunchucks don't work. And if you can't find your broom, just forget about it. What's better than having your neck like this from tight braids is having your neck like this from heavy braids. And you can also use these braids as an elaborate cat toy for your kitties. Thank y'all so much for watching my box braids to the floor again.